Seymour's Reading, How It All Began. Annie and Dalton have just finished third grade and are happy that school is out for the summer. They are twins, and they have a lot in common. They both love to learn and discover new things. But another thing they have in common is that school often feels hard for them. Sitting long periods in class instead of playing at recess or lunch is not fun for them. And when reading was taught in school, Annie and Dalton didn't catch on as quickly as other students did. That all changed after school got out last summer when the twins went to visit their grandmother, who lives by the ocean. On the first day Annie and Dalton got to the seashore, they hurried to the beach and headed for the tide pools. Looking up, they spotted a pelican flying around a cliff of rocks. They followed the pelican and found themselves in a cove they had never seen before. On one side of the cove they saw an old ship that looked just like an old pirate's ship. "Let's call this place Pirate's Cove!" cried Dalton. The pelican they had seen had landed on some driftwood near the ship, so the twins headed closer to get a better look. As the twins got closer, they spotted what looked like a huge octopus on the sand. "What is an octopus doing here?" asked Annie in amazement. To their surprise, the octopus suddenly looked right at them and said, "I'm here enjoying the beach just like you are." Before they could answer, the pelican began to talk too. "Seymour here has a hard time with reading, so he comes ashore sometimes and refuses to return to underwater school. Excuse me for a moment, though. I'll be right back." With that, the pelican took off flying towards the water, and the twins watched as it scooped something up from the tide pools offshore and headed back to the sand. The pelican landed gently back on the driftwood near the twins and let 3 small sea creatures out of its long beak. "This is Frederick the starfish, Galaxy the seahorse, and Shelley the sea urchin," the pelican said. "Frederick is a teacher in our wet world, and I am Pippa. We are all great friends of our octopus friend Seymour, and we're trying to get him to return to underwater school," Pippa explained. "I know we say school's a fish, but I didn't really think fish went to school," Dalton declared. "But it must be more fun than school on land," he added. Seymour turned and looked right at Dalton. "The trouble with school," began Seymour, "is the reading. All the other octopi seem to catch on easily. After many years, I'm still not very good at it. I so wish someone would make reading easier," he declared. Suddenly a loud rattle-like noise startled everyone. They all looked over to where the sound was coming from. A half-buried skeleton wearing a pirate hat and 1 earring was sitting straight up in the sand and was rattling its bones for attention. "Do you think it wise to share our secrets with these landlubbers?" asked the skeleton. "Don't worry, Bones," Pippa answered. "What do we have to lose? Perhaps these children can help us figure out how to make reading easier for Seymour. They both look rather clever, you know." Then Peppa turned to the children and said, "Oh, by the way, this is Captain Blackburn, long ago pirate of the high seas. We call him Bones now, though." "Getting their help sounds like a lovely idea," added Frederick the starfish rather suddenly. "5 heads are better than 1, as we starfish say." "We would like to help Seymour," the twins added eagerly. "Reading is hard for us, too. We want an easier way to learn just as much as Seymour does." Galaxy the seahorse added his opinion at this point. "If we make reading fun and exciting, almost like a game, then it will certainly be easier," he said. Galaxy was known in the ocean for his fun and playful spirit. "I will help by writing down everything we come up with using my sea urchin spines," Shelley added. Sea urchin spines were used for writing in the underwater world, and everyone agreed Shelley's spines and writing skills would be very helpful in developing a new reading game. Everyone was excited now. Annie and Dalton agreed to help the 5 sea creatures and Bones create a new way to make reading fun and an adventure. Everyone quickly began coming up with wonderful ideas, and just as important, they all felt confident they would succeed. And they did. They named the game Seymour's Reading because he was the first to use it. And yes, you guessed it, reading is easy for him now, and he is back in underwater school. He still visits Pirates Cove and Dalton and Annie sometimes, but reading and school isn't hard anymore. What they came up with were 10 terrific tricks to use while you read, each having a fun name and a different number of points. As you do each trick, you earn points the whole time you read. Also in Seymour's Reading, there are 12 treasure maps that take you through Pirates Cove. You must use your points to go on the treasure hunt and find the fabled treasure in Pirates Cove. So, if you're ready and want to learn the 10 terrific tricks and play the game that Annie, Dalton, Seymour, and all the sea creatures and Bones made together, then shout, "Aye, aye, Captain!"